Why would you want insurance? The idea behind insurance is that going through life, there are some pretty big risks most of us carry that we can't totally control or avoid. Things like major car accidents, medical issues, or having your house burned down. These can all be really expensive to deal with. Now, of course, these huge risks are typically not very likely, and you might go through life never experiencing any of them. But the fact is that these disastrous situations can just happen to people sometimes, and it can be concerning how an extreme amount of financial loss and damage could just happen to you by chance, and you might not be able to deal with it. What would you do if you had a sudden medical emergency costing you $50,000 or even $100,000? If you're not prepared for that kind of sudden expense, you could end up saddled with a large amount of debt, draining your savings, forcing you to sell your personal items to make the payments, affecting your ability to pay for your basic needs, and then beyond that, dealing with debt collectors and possibly having to declare bankruptcy. The bottom line is that it's extremely stressful to spontaneously have an expense for something critical that you don't know how to pay. Insurance is a sort of protection that you can pay for to have the certainty that if you were to experience an otherwise catastrophic issue, you'll be financially okay. It won't ruin your life, and you'll know that the problem can be paid for and managed if it happens to occur. Now, a key thing to understand about insurance is that on average, you are going to be losing more money than you'll end up getting back from having insurance. The way insurance works is that people who want to have its protection have to pay a regular fee to their insurance company, typically a monthly payment, and that fee goes into a big pool with everyone else's fees. That pool supplies the money that pays out to the unfortunate people in that insurance pool who experience the problem that they're insured against. We're all giving and taking from the same pool. So if most people ended up with more money than what they put in, insurance as a business wouldn't really work. The pool of money that covers people's risks occurring would dry up. Insurance only functions as a business because on the whole, more money is being taken from the insured people than is paid back to them. Now, the idea that you'll be losing money on average if you pay for insurance might leave you thinking you're better off saving your money to protect yourself instead. However, if you were to put the money you would have spent on insurance towards saving for a disaster, you're typically going to find that it will take a while to accumulate enough savings to reach the level of protection that your insurance would have granted you. Imagine you pay $5,000 a year for health insurance that covers $100,000 in healthcare costs. It would take you 20 years of saving that $5,000 annually to accumulate the same value of protection as the insurance provides. In other words, that's 20 years that you would be vulnerable to $100,000 in healthcare expenses if you chose to put that $5,000 annual payment into your savings account instead. Now, of course, you may never experience that sort of catastrophe in those 20 years, and if you didn't, you would end up beating out the value of insurance. But would you rather be vulnerable to that type of risk for that length of time in order to try and end up with more money? Or is that vulnerability something that's worth sacrificing for to secure protection against? The purpose of insurance is not to save you money. It's to protect you against the situation where you suffer a loss that you can't afford. You're choosing to have the peace of mind about your ability to weather a chance disaster in exchange for essentially reducing your baseline financial well-being. I hope this helped you to get a better understanding of why you'd want insurance. If you thought this was helpful or unhelpful, leaving feedback with likes, dislikes, or comments are all very much appreciated and a good way to let me know, if I'm doing good or not. But yeah, if you just have a question you'd like to ask, feel free to do that as well. But until next time, I'll see you later.